today we are going to talk about section 2.9, and it is called Solving Inequalities by adding or subtracting. Remember, when we have the word inequalities, that means we're going to have greater than, less than, equal to, or greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, those types of things. So let's start off by doing a little review. You need to solve x plus 2 equals 8 and x minus 4 equals 10. Now this we just did probably 2.5-ish, so just a couple lessons ago. So here what I'm looking at is what sign is here. It is a positive, so that means to get rid of the positive 2, I need to subtract 2 because my goal is to get x by itself. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I could write down x plus 0, but I wouldn't need to do that because it's just 0. So then I need to do it on the right side. 8 minus 2 is 6. So x equals 6. That's how I solve that one. Now let's look at the next one. Here I have a negative 4. And so to get rid of that negative 4, I need to add 4 to both sides. Now this equal sign, it's like a barrier. We can't cross it unless we do things if we do something to one side of the barrier, we have to do it to the other side of the barrier because we just need to. Okay, so if I'm adding 4 to one side of the equal sign, I need to add 4 to the other side. Just do the exact same thing to both sides. Now, a negative 4 and a positive 4 is the same thing as me saying 4 minus 4, which is 0. So again, we just need to write x equals 10 plus 4 is 14. Boom, there's my answer. Do you need to draw this barrier? No, you don't, but it's just a good reminder that that barrier is there. We cannot cross it unless we're doing the same to both sides. There. All right. Now that we have our review, we can go on and solve some problems. Okie dokie. So here is our new stuff. And your directions from your book are going to say solve and graph. And when we graph inequalities, it just means draw down a number line. Okay, so number 1 says x plus 2 is less than or equal to 8. Okay, so let's solve it like usual. We'll pretend that instead of a less than or equals to sign, we just have an equal to sign. Okay, so I need to add, not add. I need to subtract 2 from both sides because I have a positive 2 in my original equation. So plus 2 and a negative 2 is going to equal 0. So now I get x is less than or equal to 8 minus 2, or 6. Now how I graph that, get my number line out. I see it's going to be a positive number, so I'm going to put my 0 kind of a little bit farther to the left because I don't need to draw in any negative numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go up to 8. That's all we really need to. So now we look at our equation we need to graph. Okay, I do see an equal sign underneath. It's less than or equal to, so I know my circle is going to be a closed circle around 6. And it is a less than, so we need to make the line go to the left and draw an arrow. So that is how we get our answer. So for your answer in the book, you do need to have both things written down. All right, let's try another one. This time our equation is x minus 4 is greater than 10. Okay, so let's solve it like usual. I see right here I have a negative 4, so I need to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 and a positive 4 makes 0, so now I'm getting x is greater than 14. Now this one I'm going to have to draw kind of better because I need to get 14 lines on my graph when I do it. I'm going to put 0 way over there because 14 is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, kind of. I got that little 16 in there. Okay. So now I need to look. Is my circle going to be opened or closed? I know my circle is going to be open because there's no equal sign, so I'm going to find 14, draw an open circle around that line on 14. Now you know x is going to be greater than 14, so I need greater than, so I'm going to go to the right. Remember my grrr. Okay, so I go to the right, greater than right, and this is my answer. All of that stuff. Okay, let's try some more. All right, let's do number 3. It says negative 3 plus x is greater than or equal to 5. Now, this is where some of you had been getting confused because you say, well, it's a positive sign in the middle. But we have to look at the sign that's in front of our number. So if I look at this 3 right here, I see it as a negative 3. How do I get negative 3 to equal 0? I add 3 to both sides. Okay, so a negative 3 plus 3 would give me 0. So I am left with x is greater than or equal to 5 plus 3 or 8. And now we have to graph it. So all I have to do is draw out my number line. I see it as a positive number, so I'm going to have my numbers way to the left so I can have space to write them all in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I always like going a little bit farther, at least 2 numbers, so that I can get my arrow in. Alright, so now I have to decide, is it a open or closed circle? I see right here I've got less, greater than or equal to, so I'm going to put a closed circle on the number 8. Because I know it can be 8 in my solution. So now I need to say x is greater than, remember, greater than, we go to the right. And color in my arrow, here is my answer. All right, let's do our last example here. Number 4 says 11 plus x is less than a negative 2. Okay, so I have to look at my number that is on the same side of less than, equal to, whatever sign is in the middle, and that would be 11. My 11 is a positive number, so if I have $11 and I want to have $0, which I don't know why anybody would want to, but if that did happen, then I would give away $11. So I need to subtract 11 from both sides. Okay, so 11 minus 11 is 0. So I am left with x is less than negative 2 minus 11. How I like to think of that is if I were to say I owe James $2 and I owe Kylie $11. Okay, so how much money do I owe in all? I owe 2 and I owe 11, so I owe $13. And if I owe money, I know it's going to be a negative number. Okay, so let's draw out our lovely number line. Okay, so now I have, oops, -1, -2, -3, 4, 5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11. Oh, I ran out of space. Let me see if I can't scooch these over a little bit and extend my number line. -12, -13, -14, -15. Okay, so now I know I have to look and see, is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle? If I look, I don't have an equal sign in my problem, so it's going to be open. So I have to go an open circle around -13. X is less than -13. Less than, go to the left. And there is our answer. All right, I do have a quick word problem that we'll go over on the next slide. So if you missed something up on the top, just rewind the video. Suppose I could move it back. Okay, that's just more confusing. If you are missing something on the video up on top, then just rewind it, and that should help you out. All right, just as I promised, number 5 is a word problem, and it says something like this. An airline lets you check up to 65 pounds of luggage. And actually, to be true, it should be only 50 pounds. One suitcase weighs 37 pounds. LBS is just another shorter way to write pounds. How much can the other suitcase weigh? Okay, so how many pounds can I have total? That'd be 65. Okay, and it can it equal 65? Let's read the directions. Lets you check up to 65 pounds. So in my opinion, that means yes, it can equal 65 pounds. So it has to be less than or equal to 65 pounds. Okay, so let's say X is the suitcase you want to check in. X is the other suitcase. Okay, that's X. The other suitcase is X plus the other suitcase, 37 pounds, has to be less than or equal to 65 pounds. Okay, so now we got our handy dandy equation here. So let's put it doesn't say it has to be on a graph. Looks like we just have to solve it. So I have a positive 37, so to get 37 down to 0, I would subtract 37 from both sides, and I would get X is less than or equal to, what is 65 minus 37? 5, 15, 7 goes into 15, 8 times. 5 minus 3, sorry, that's a very sloppy 3. I'll try to make it a little bit neater here for you. 5 minus 3 is 2. So that means X, or the other suitcase, has to be less than or equal to 28 pounds in order to not get an overage charge from the airline. Okay, so you guys, if you just reason this out, you just talk to yourself and say, how can I figure it out? We need to find the weight of the other suitcase. We know they both have to add up to 65 pounds. So how much does it weigh? I do need to see this equation on your work when you do it from your book. All right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow in class.